A Nordic framework for recirculation bottles is mined potential to be adoptee in the UK. Advisors by the government say the schemes include massively diminished plasticity garbage in the environmental and seas. And a government deputation has been to Norway to see if the UK should back up an production-led schema how recycles 98% of bottles. In the UK, figures show how just about part of all plasticity bottles get processed. Norway claims to propose the largest price-efficient way of dealing plasticity garbage. The Norse by the government solved the top technique would be to put a tax on each bottling house not processed, later keep the operational detailed information of the schema up to industry. It plant love the customer pays a deposit account on each bottling, of 10p to 25p depending on amount. They back it blank and position it in a car that reads the stroke and produces a voucher for the deposit account. If the reckless customer has leftward fluid in the bottling, the car food it in any case, but hence the deposit account to the tradesman someone requirement to blank the bottling. Such schemes are in transactions in some Scandinavian nations, Germany and several states in the US and Canada. The link of the Norway transactions say it could readily be attached to the UK. In Norway, the deposit account return car accepts just two types of plasticity bottling, in adopted tag and though adopted adhesive to fix the tag. The allows the tag to be undressed readily, and simplifies recirculation. In the UK, curb gallery of plasticity bottles in Britain are bedeviled by pollution of swindler nonsense creature put in the recirculation canister. We believe it could be copy in the UK, or everywhere. Ours concept is how if drinks firms can get bottles to shops to sell their means, they can as well gather such identical bottles. Scotland has already devoted to a deposit account back schema, out of detailed information so distant. But political community in Westminster include been more than careful among advocacy by drinks manufacturers and fears of little shops on the administration load. In Norway, little shopkeepers are told to usually favor the deposit account back framework. They get pay a little fee for every bottling, and are as well told to gain of enlarged step of human beings back bottles. Sajana Pariyar, who plant at the Wild Card mini market in center Oslo said me, "He's a nice item. Human beings back the bottling and in the cash they get of it they buy things of us. It increases the quantity of human beings in our shops. He's nice for industry." While we attended her keep, a homelessness man with patience fed a bag full of bottles and cans in the jaw of the car. Same D gathered the glass of a neighboring office space, and grown 5 pounds in the trial. But though in recirculation conscious Norway, several human beings yet violate. The lowest offenders are guys quaffing power drinks on the run to high school. So several schools include now established bottling collecting racks at the high school gates to escape plasticity bottles departure in general nonsense bins. The largest righteous consumer are older ale drinkers who can hoard their cans at household upback them after. Fair 2% of Norway's plasticity bottles escape the deposit account back schema, but though so the total numbers are top. Terje Skadli plant at a public recirculation schema, ROF, that collects the bins of 70,000 homes on the suburb of Oslo. At his factory, a 3D labyrinth of conveyors and ramps, a stable flow of plasticity bottles is in isolation of some waste management by IR acceptance. These bottles include been blended in some waste management for gallery so they can be utilized once again for meal class packing. They get downward graded in plasticity furnishings instead of. I get irate while I see how, he said me as he glared at the bottling conveyor under us. Reason are human beings so slothful how they can't be concerned to recirculate a bottling? We should growth the deposit account to 50p on a big bottling. Which was the importance in loose deposits? I requested. He done a course calculating fair by a millionth dollar a year. In how sum of cash money swilling about the schema in replacement changing, he's slight miracle how representatives of some nations are examining the advantages of departure Norse. But though Norway's ultra-efficient recirculation framework can't competitive in maiden plasticity on price, the issue, the recyclers tell, is how the product composition of plasticity, oil and gas, are just too inexpensive. The price of every bottling is subsidized by a few pence by the producer. The eventually gets gone to the customer. The operators of the schema claim how he's more than relevant for human beings purchase drinks to pay for them to be processed, quite rather than include taxpayers leg the draft for clean up garbage on beaches. The UK by the government's workside student plasticity waste management will refer Norway as an sample of a framework work so. Members are as well thrilled by the sample of Lithuania, that is told to include reached a 93% back bet in fair 3-year. Samantha Harding, of the rural area team CPRE, has been campaign versus plasticity garbage for more than rather than a 10 years. So, they're making it in Germany too, and state in the US and Canada. Are they all the identical, so are we various of all of them? Same key is to get an economical stimulus, put a deposit account on the bottling, and largest human beings win cast cash off. She applauded the Norse framework of setting Recircle bins in social places for thrown plasticity bottles. Human beings say they don't wish to see homelessness. Human beings search via bins to get the deposit account behind on bottles. Why don't we do it lightweight for them? Ms. Harding told one large benefit of deposit account back schemes is how it obliges every portion of the plasticity circuit to changing their behavior, of food conception to style, to production, transportation, utilize, and eventually removal. The is large since we've seen big firms campaign versus nice schemes since it constrained them to get more than liability. We're in a meltdown now, down there's no chamber for how kind of item, she told.